All right, we are here looking at what is, no lie, one of the most buzzed about things at E3, Star Wars 1313. I have got the man behind the whole thing, Dominic Robiliard. I got it right?
Fantastic, yeah.
Excellent. You're the creative director at LucasArts on this game. So, I mean, this kind of came out of nowhere. You guys showed a little clip of this on the Game Trailer show, and then it kind of blew up. Like, the internet is saying, dude, look at this thing. And we just saw the full demo, and it's crazy. How long have you guys been working on this, and how hard was it to keep this under wraps before you kind of blew it out here at E3?
So I've been working on this with the team for the best part of 2 years, getting it ready. And yeah, we've kind of been sitting quite tight and rebuilding the studio, changing the way we do things, changing the way we treat gameplay, and then there's obviously this collaboration that we've managed to draw in with ILM and Sky Sound and Lucas Animation to really kind of change the way we're making games at Lucasfilm.
Very cool. So, I mean, it sounds like I'm blowing a lot of smoke here, but I mean, it's probably the best looking game I've ever seen, and I mean, there are good reasons for that, obviously. Like, I know you're muzzled from speaking plainly by public relations, but who just stepped around the corner, so let's do this. But I mean, you guys must have started out, I assume, from the outset, kind of targeting next level hardware and sort of thinking from the beginning, like, what are the effects and the new techniques that we can employ here. Is that accurate?
So I can't talk about the platforms of the SKUs.
Sure,
we've put this demo together on PC.
Yeah. I mean, I want to hear more about like renderers and shader pipelines and stuff. Just give it to me.
Give it to you.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you need to go and find Kim. Kim, we've got the VFX suit from ILM, and he's the one been working with us to try and change the way we can render games. And so we've been lucky enough to partner with NVIDIA, who've been fantastic and really supportive of us trying to really use some of the rendering techniques that they use for the cinematic effects at ILM. Yeah, it's going really well so far.
I mean, I was going to mention that you actually kind of gave a special thanks to NVIDIA in there. I mean, are you guys, working that close with a hardware vendor? I mean, are you that bleeding edge with this stuff, or are you guys really like pushing kind of unexplored boundaries here?
There are quite a few things that we're doing in the demo that feel very new to us. We've been lucky enough to use this depth compositing simulation for explosions that you may have seen in there when the two ships are crashing together, and we've got this kind of very dramatic explosion. There's one at the beginning of the gunfight as well. So that's actually a proprietary simulation system that ILM use that we've actually now bring into real time and using in the game, and that's something that we've been able to do by working with NVIDIA on this demo.
Has that been a painful transition for you guys, or ILM, taking these kind of like offline rendering techniques that have to like suddenly be employed at like 30 frames a second? Like, has that been tough to adapt?
It has. One of the things that I've managed to kind of pick up from working with those guys, because they've been on team with us, which has been a very different way of collaborating, is that they're rarely slowed down by something that seems impossible. They just keep going until they've cracked it, and then they just move on to the next thing. And the LucasArts team feel very similarly about all of this stuff as well. So it's more a question of we'll figure out a way to do it somehow. And then, I just keep coming in and seeing these amazing things every day. It's kind of incredible.
I'm very tempted to just stand here and talk about graphics all day, but the actual...
I should get someone smarter then.
Well, the actual content of the game...
There you go.
Is that the man? Is that the man? The content of the game obviously bears mention as well. And I mean, just like top to bottom, this says original trilogy to me, like the design of the ships and the droids and the costumes and everything. I mean, was that the primary inspiration going into this?
I mean, I grew up with the original trilogy, and so it's a huge part of my childhood. And we really wanted to make an experience that kind of felt like the cantina in the first Star Wars movie in Episode 4. And we talk a lot about making a mature themed Star Wars game, but it's really important to state that it's nothing gratuitous. It's just about the type of characters, the things they're doing, the motivations that they have, and the kind of stuff they're getting up to.
I mean, we were sitting around the office the other day when the game was announced, trying to figure out like what makes the Star Wars universe mature, because I mean nobody knows how to curse there, so it's got to be violence, right? But there are no Jedi in this game, so I mean, like what kind of elements are we talking about here that's going to like push that rating there?
It's kind of tricky without getting into who you're going to be and the story specifically, but it revolves around this criminal underworld and these really kind of dark and seedy characters that live down there and the kind of things that they get up to. They're definitely themes that you haven't really seen explored in Star Wars before, but they've been alluded to all over the place, in all the different things that we have out there from Star Wars. But now we're actually going to get to go down there and explore it and be in the middle of it.
Right. So you guys were showing in the demo like a very tightly paced and scripted kind of, you talked about cinematic action, and you make a trade-off. If you have this kind of tightly constrained experience, you can raise the production values, but you sort of lose the element of exploration to some extent. Are there going to be other parts of the game that kind of better encourage you to sort of roam around and feel out this space?
Right. That's a really good question. So, I mean, I love these type of games and these linear roller coaster experiences, but one of the things we're trying to bring out of this bounty hunter fantasy is more ways for the player to express themselves when they're playing the game. So as they build up this kind of toolkit of weapons and gadgets, that's where the freedom is going to come from, how you play the game. So we'll still be on this linear, tightly crafted and authored roller coaster ride, but when you're actually playing in the game, you're going to have a lot more freedom and options about how you get through the encounters and the combat.
Very cool. I know you can't say a whole lot, so what else can you say?
Let me see. I think one of the things we get asked a lot is when is it set, and we can't.
Oh yeah, actually, I was totally going to ask that question. Actually, when is it set?
So it's set between the two trilogies.
Okay, I mean that's like what, a 20-something year stretch. Like any more specific than that, or? Well, based on what it looks like, I can draw some conclusions here. So, I mean, when are you out? Like, can you give us any kind of? I'm going to guess not before late next year. Is that?
I really can't say, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, I tried my best. You can't squeeze blood from stone here, but we gave it our best. Dominic, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of E3.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.